Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Papa Bear Show. My name is Imani Lucas.
And I am AKA LaShanya Brazil, AKA Shanya Breeze.
That's right. And we are here as always to bring you the latest news in the Black and Brown community of California and the United States. We are here to bring that information out to you. We have some great guests planned for this evening. We have Disability Rights California who's here in the house with us. We're going to just be talking about community health, housing, helping people make sure that they can stabilize their situations and not be taken advantage of by some of the powers that may be out there. So we will always start in every fashion by bringing you the latest news, the latest in healthcare. Ms. Breeze, you want to start?
Yes, I will. And so I'm going to be reading from you guys a recent release report from PwC's Health Research Institute has revealed a concerning projection of 7.0 year-on-year increases in Medi-Cal costs for the year 2024, impacting both individual and group healthcare markets. This development holds particular significance for underserved African American families who often encounter obstacles in accessing quality health care.
Based on surveys and interviews with healthcare executives covering 100 million employer-sponsored large and small group members and 10 million Affordable Care Act ACA marketplace members, this report sheds light on the challenges faced by the industry. Executives grapple with the imperative to transform the patient and member experience while contending with issues like aging technology, outdated business operations, infrastructure deficits, clinical workforce shortages, and competition from emerging medical and tech innovators and startups.
The projected 7.0 increase in medical costs for 2024 surpasses the rates observed in 2022 and 2023, standing at 5.5 and 6.0% respectively. The projected 7.0 increase in medical costs for 2024 surpasses the rates observed in 2022 and 2023, standing at 5.5 and 6.0% respectively. Health plans attribute this upward trend to unit cost impacts with contracted healthcare providers and persistent double-digit pharmacy trends fueled by specialty drugs. The rising use of medications for conditions such as type 2 diabetes and weight loss further contributes to higher cost projections.
In a call to action, the report underscores the urgent need for the industry to address affordability challenges and disrupt the trajectory of escalating costs. With a focus on reshaping strategies and re-engineering financial, workforce, and business models, organizations are encouraged to seize the transformative opportunities. This includes investments in innovation and technology, along with strategic deals to pave the way for a significantly different cost landscape, enhanced capabilities, and a transformed business opportunity for 2030.
For African American families navigating pregnancy within underserved community, the implications of these rising healthcare costs underscore the critical need for advocacy in promoting accessible and affordable healthcare solutions. As the industry confronts unprecedented challenges, this call to action serves as a crucial beacon for healthcare providers, policymakers, and communities to collaborate in working towards a more inclusive and sustainable healthcare future.
Now, that is interesting stuff, Ms. Breeze. There are there's already inflation going on for our communities as it is. And of course, we wouldn't deny that there's also healthcare costs, usually at the forefront of those costs in general.
And this is very unfortunate because not only that's in jeopardy, a lot of our families don't know how to access, don't know they're in jeopardy, don't know the rising costs because the resource and the information is not in the communities that we live in. So how do we spread the word? How do we get that information out so that our families are not in jeopardy and get the critical services and keep their Medi-Cal going and that Medicaid going for that fact.
That's right.
Especially for our pregnant African American families, who we know African American families are underserved and underrepresented when it comes down to pregnancy and support for families.
That's right. So it's just something that to keep in mind, and also to be very aware and knowing about some of these changes coming up could really affect your family dynamic. It can affect a lot of things as far as their socioeconomic advancement. So we always want to keep in mind what's going on with our healthcare world.
Yes, very much so. Very, 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 very important.
Community-based organizations, they're vital for navigating soaring healthcare costs in 2024. As healthcare costs are projected to surge by 7% in 2024, underserved African American families face an uphill battle in accessing affordable and comprehensive healthcare. In the wake of this challenging scenario, community-based organizations like United and Guided are emerging as crucial lifelines, providing essential wraparound services to ensure that families receive the support that they need.
PwC's Health Research Institute, HRI, recently unveiled a report projecting the alarming increase in medical costs for 2024, hitting both individual and group healthcare markets. For communities already facing barriers to quality health care, these numbers underscore the urgency of seeking assistance from organizations that specialize in providing comprehensive support services.
United and Guided are examples of such community-based organizations offering wraparound services that include medical and Medicaid assistance, mental health peer support, community health supports, and enhanced care management. These services go beyond traditional health care, addressing the most multifaceted challenges faced by underserved families.
In the face of aging technology, outdated business operations, infrastructure's deficit, the clinical workforce shortages outlined in the PwC report, organizations like United and Guided step in to bridge the gaps. Their focus on wraparound services acknowledges that health care is not just about medical treatments, but requires a holistic approach to address the various social determinants affecting individuals and families.
The projected 7.0 increase in medical costs for 2024, cited by HRI, underscores the importance of community-based organizations as vital support systems. These organizations not only offer assistance in navigating the complexities of healthcare plans, but also provide mental health peer support, recognizing the profound impact of mental well-being on overall health.
United and Guided commitment to community health supports aligns with the call to actions from the PwC report. By offering enhanced care management, they empower individuals to manage chronic conditions effectively, mitigating the impact of rising medication costs, particularly for conditions like type 2 diabetes or weight loss.
In the spirit of reshaping strategies and re-engineering financial, workforce, and business models, community-based organizations become pivotal allies. Investments in innovation and technology, as well as strategic deals outlined in the PwC report, find resonance in the grassroots efforts of organizations like United and Guided.
For African American families navigating pregnancy within underserved communities, the importance of community-based support cannot be overstated. Accessible and affordable healthcare solutions are not just aspirations, but tangible realities when organizations like United and Guided champion the cause.
As the healthcare industry faces unprecedented challenges, the collaboration between healthcare providers, policymakers, and community-based organizations becomes essential. United and Guided, in their focus on wraparound service, epitomize the transformative opportunities that can lead to a more inclusive, accessible, and sustainable healthcare future. And folks, tonight, I am very honored to be able to introduce Disability Rights California as another organization that is out there collaborating with organizations to help people in our communities. You know, there are challenges with the surging costs of medical expenses on top of the changes in the Medi-Cal industry, you know, could greatly affect our families. So we definitely want to continue to bring more information and updated news every time some of those changes happen. We are collaborative partners with several community-based organizations, and Disability Rights California being one of them, one of the several that we outreach to communities and families too. All right. Welcome this evening to another wonderful edition of the Papa Bear Show. My name is Imani Lucas. I'm here with the lovely Shana Breeze, Miss LaShanya Brazel. And as always, we bring some great news, some updated news for our community, along with having some very powerful guests. This evening, we have Disability Rights California, and I have some very good friends here, Miss Shana and Mr. Jonathan. And I'm going to go through the full name, Miss Shana MCDavis-Conway. All right, getting that right. And then we have Jonathan Cardenas as well. We are very excited to have them here today. And we want to learn a little bit more about, you know, how a strong community-based organization like Disability Rights California comes about, and, you know, how some great people come to work for them.
Okay, great. So I'm Shana MCDavis-Conway, and I'm one of the social work interns at the Housing Stability Project at Disability Rights California.
Right, yeah, and I'm Jonathan Cardenas, and I'm an advocate with the Housing Stability Project at Disability Rights California.
Okay. Thank you again for being on our show. Really appreciate it. It's definitely an honor. Tell us, for those that don't know, what Disability Rights of California, who are you guys? What do you do? Who do you serve?
Yeah, right, of course. So thank you for having us, first of all. Disability Rights California, we work in assisting people with disability, kind of in self-advocacy, empowering them to self-advocate, knowing their rights. With the Housing Stability Project, focusing with housing, but we do also have other groups within the organization. If you're, people facing discrimination in employment, housing, education, they can help with that. But with the Housing Stability Project, it is focused more on housing, education, tenant rights, kind of what their options are if they feel like they're being evicted, having issues with accommodations. They call us and we try to provide advice pertaining to those situations.
Awesome. And I heard you, Ms. Shana, say social worker?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're very lucky at the Housing Stability Project. We have a social work team. So when people call because they have an issue with their housing, they're given the opportunity to also speak with the social worker if they choose. It's optional. And then we're there to try to help connect them with other sort of resources that could help. So say if they were getting evicted because they weren't able to pay their rent, well, what's the reason for that? Is that because they don't have income and they need employment assistance? Is it because their Social Security was cut off and they need help connecting to that? So it's really our job to help deal with all the holistic issues. So we treat people like they're real people.
Okay.
So I imagine the surge in healthcare costs could really do something to a family to affect some of their housing situation. What other ways do people come to you for help in housing? Are there some other things that are circumstances that may happen, maybe loss of a job or some other ways that people lead themselves to you guys?
Sure. Well, definitely high healthcare costs could be a significant issue for our clients because all of our clients have a disability. So it could be that they have a chronic illness, like lupus, heart disease. They could have autism or a different kind of disability. They might have mobility issues. So I've had a lot of clients where they can't afford the cost of a wheelchair or a walker or a cane, and they really need those to get around because otherwise they're stuck at home and not able to contribute and be integrated into their community and their family. So that's part of what we do with the social workers. Hopefully Jonathan and the other advocates and attorneys can help them with their legal issue, and the social work team can help them with connecting them to, prescription discount programs, connecting them to low-cost health insurance like Medi-Cal, helping them get connected to CalFresh if that's an issue, or disability insurance and income programs if they don't have a source of income. So there's so many different programs. I didn't know about most of them before I started to work at Disability Rights California. So it's been great for me to learn, and many of our clients aren't familiar with them either.
Awesome. So let me ask you, I heard you say you would connect them with the services. Will like in-home support services be one of those services? And because it's a challenge trying to get anyone on the phone, get that intake. I think that's what a lot of people run into, because you do that referral and you are that individual advocating for those families. Is it a faster intake process, or is pretty much the same? Or
it might not be faster, but sometimes it might change the way people are treated.
Absolutely.
Of course, you always want to feel like people are treated with the most dignity and respect when they call any service agency.
In the real world.
But, in the real world, that doesn't always happen. I've experienced that myself.
Okay.
And so sometimes having someone on the phone with you as your advocate, it can also just help you self-advocate for yourself, knowing someone's there witnessing the conversation.
Yes.
And sometimes it can really help you navigate a system that you may not know all the language for.
Right.
You don't know all the lingo. It's not that people aren't wanting to help you, but they don't necessarily understand exactly what you need.
Right.
And having someone there, like a social worker or another advocate, to be able to talk on your behalf and help support you can really be helpful for people.
So empowerment. That's awesome, and that makes sense, because I bet sometimes when you're on, if they had a challenge, but once you're on the phone with them, and then the client, I'm not going to use that word, the family is actually, advocating, you probably don't even have to say one word, but just to know that you're on the line with them, giving that courage to speak. That is awesome. So.
And so, Jonathan, I know you have some stories about maybe some of the clients that you've worked with. Excuse me, the families that you've worked with.
Say the word.
And, why don't you tell us a few of those?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in doing intakes, of course, the families that we work with, there's a lot of issues with tenant landlords, but one specific story in mind that I have is a client gives us a call trying, just asking for information, referrals. At that point, they were in a hotel, and at that time, too, I don't think we have integrated our social workers. We didn't have that at that time. So in conducting the intake, kind of digging a little bit, we found out that the previous year, her son actually had passed away. She had a voucher at the time that she wasn't applying, but due to her son passing, she didn't really care.
Absolutely.
That was what she was focused on, losing her son.
Yeah.
But we dug a little bit, and we got some more information about what happened, and I guess her time had run out. She didn't apply it anywhere. So we worked with our team, kind of seeing how we could help. We ended up drafting an accommodation letter request that was sent to the housing authority, and this was a year later after the voucher had been kind of not active. So. And they actually reinstated the voucher.
Good.
Which is it's a great story to have, and she went from being in a hotel to having housing, so we were able to help with that, and just in general, educating tenants about the rights as tenants, helping draft sometimes accommodation letters, people get accommodations, and educating clients, for example, being charged for having an ESA, which is not allowed. So they call us and like, hey, we're being charged a fee. Or extra money on the deposit, is that allowed? So we educate them, on what their rights are. So a lot of housing issues that, people experience, so we try to help with that.
Please,
so Jonathan, I'm sorry, Jonathan, just please educate our viewers on what an ESA is.
There you go.
Yeah, so emotional support animal.
Yes, sir.
And, a lot of times when people move in, they get applications, there's a question, do you have a pet? They don't really know how to answer that because it's not a pet, it's an emotional support animal. So they have questions, do I disclose it? Do I not disclose it? It is a case-by-case basis because when clients call us, they might be at a different position. Maybe sometimes they already moved in and the landlord finds out and they're like, hey, you can't have that. Sometimes they're signing an application and like, do I disclose that? So depending on when we do the intake, we get more information about where along the lines they are.
Correct.
We'll be able to kind of follow up with the legal team and give them some advice on what to do or the next steps to answer their questions.
Okay, yes, I love it.
Excellent.
Yes, that is very
So, I mean, the two of you just seem like you have such big hearts for this type of work. let me ask, and I'm going to start with Shana. Like, what made you get into this line of work to begin with?
Well, my first job when I got out of college was working on Medi-Cal outreach, so helping families sign up for Medi-Cal and for healthy families. I think it was before we had covered California, so that kind of tells you how old I am.
Yeah.
And I loved doing it. Like, I loved that feeling of helping people.
Right.
But at the same time, I was on food stamps myself.
ma'am.
And I saw the way that I was treated sometimes
Absolutely.
and how it was very different when I walked
Absolutely.
in there with my, badge that I worked for Medi-Cal, and then when I walked in there as a client, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I felt like everybody deserved to be treated with dignity and respect and to know the ways to kind of navigate the system. And a lot of people don't have that. You don't know the insider track because you're not usually working for the agency that you're also getting benefits from.
Right.
So I was really inspired to want to keep helping people be able to connect to the resources and be able to improve the program so that they work better. That's kind of how I got started, and it's still what I'm doing now at Disability Rights California. I often think about how I felt being kind of scared, worried. When you need that benefit, it's it's your housing, it's your food, it's your health care. It's really essential to you. So I
Right.
hope I can be that person that I really wanted to have back then.
Man.
See, that sounds like lived experience.
Absolutely. We love it, lived experience.
Love that. How about you, Jonathan?
Yeah, so for me, I have actually a brother who's deaf and hard of hearing, an older brother, so I think he's about 10 years older than me, so I grew up in a home, and I have to give credit to my parents, who kind of instilled in us advocating for a brother, but in growing up also in church, and we did a lot of outreaches.
Yes.
Faith is a big part of, I think, how I grew up, so. And then once I actually worked for Covered California at a call center, so I got kind of a little, that's kind of how I started, I think. But I always had the desire to be able to help people in any way that I can. Like I said, growing up with somebody who has a disability,
Correct.
that was kind of instilled in us, and that's brought me to where I'm at now. So working with Covered California, taking calls, helping people answer questions, about how can I make myself eligible for something, so kind of helping them with that, and eventually going to another nonprofit, being a housing navigator, kind of boots on the ground. I would go to encampments and kind of connect people, with services, and then now at Disability Rights California, helping people kind of educate themselves and their families and the community about their rights as a tenant, and so that landlords don't take advantage of nobody.
Absolutely.
So
So do you also work with people right off the street that are looking for housing, or is it already necessary for them to have a housing situation?
Right. So now that was my previous, I would say, kind of position as a navigator. But with Disability Rights California, these are people that are housed, and we're trying to educate them on avoiding eviction. So the people that call us are normally housed. If somebody is homeless, we definitely want to connect them with a social worker, kind of see maybe we can handle something that may be helpful. But when we do the intakes, I would say normally they are people that are housed and trying to avoid eviction, or have questions about their rights, anywhere within the eviction process, or just about housing.
Okay.
I definitely have had some clients who are unhoused, or clients who are living in shelters, or maybe they were evicted from a shelter. So it is like Jonathan said, it's mostly clients that might be facing an eviction, and part of our role as a social worker is to connect them with programs that prevent them from getting evicted, or if they are homeless, to connect them with housing. And we're lucky that there are great programs like Home Safe for people who are older, that can help with housing deposits, that can help with paying back rent, that can really help keep older adults in their home, but people might not know about it, whether they're unhoused or just at risk of homelessness.
And would you say that the population that you serve is mainly elders versus younger populations of family, or just a mix of both?
I would say, for me, I feel like it's pretty mixed. We definitely have quite a few older adult clients who call. And who also are patient about chatting on the phone with me, which I appreciate. But we have a lot of younger families too, as well. So I think it's pretty mixed. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely mixed. To receive our services, all we ask is that a family member or the caller themselves have a disability and a housing legal issue.
Right.
But yeah, it's both. And sometimes we get like a family on the line,
Yes.
and we find out, you know, their housing demographic information.
Yeah.
And then we kind of navigate that. But it's definitely a mixture of younger and older.
Okay, that is good to know.
And we're winding down on time, but I do want to ask you, are there ever any language barriers? Are there particular families that come in that may not speak English or may not speak Spanish? Or, you know, how would you handle some situations like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we have bilingual people who
Cool.
speak Spanish. Myself, I speak Spanish. But in the case if there's another language, you do have interpretation services.
Awesome.
So we will do what we can to be able to accommodate anybody. If there's a language barrier, deaf or blind as well,
Yes.
we'll be able to assist them, do an intake for sure.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so each of you got about 30 seconds to give your best shout outs. Who you shouting out to, Miss Shana? We'll start with you.
Okay, well, I guess I would like to shout out some of the changes to Medi-Cal that are coming up.
Woohoo.
So just to mention first that the asset limit is being eliminated starting this month. So if you're applying for Medi-Cal and you have savings, it's fine as long as you meet the income limit. And then the other big change is the CalAIM program. So we refer a lot of our families to the CalAIM program. It's a great program that can help with housing navigation, so finding housing, you know, housing deposits, sobering centers, medically tailored meals, and then enhanced care management, so connecting people to doctors and dentists and mental health professionals. So we're really lucky to have both of those programs here.
Awesome.
Yes,
Definitely.
sir.
And for me, I would like to give advice to
Yeah.
whoever's watching is, well, shout out to Disability Rights California. Call our intake line if you have questions. We'll get you connected. But don't self-evict. If you have an eviction notice, if you're scared, you think you're going to lose housing, don't just voluntarily move out. You have rights. Give us a call and we can educate you if you have questions. But yeah, we'd be more than happy to help in the way we can.
Perfect.
All right, not to put you on the spot, but do you know that 1-800 number so we can share it with our viewers?
Yeah, so we did provide it, but I do have it right here. It's going to be 1-800-776-5746. Our intake line is, we're open on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Our intake lines are closed on Wednesday.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
So hey, there you have it, everybody. Miss Shana, Mr. Jonathan, I want to thank you both
Yes.
for joining us here on the Papa Bear Show. Look forward to seeing you again as new changes happen in housing and the CalAIM program.
And Medi-Cal.
And just once again, thank you guys for being here.
Yes.
Thanks for having
you.
us.
Yes,
All right, and we want to thank you, audience, for being a part of the Papa Bear Show. We're going to give our shout outs, of course, to the California Department of Public Health, which helps sponsor our program called Black Fathers, Inc., which is a subsidiary of Papa Bear's Village that happens every Sunday in Tahoe Park, 10:30 to 2:30. There are nothing but parents out there working with their children, instilling self-care, being a part of the community, and getting to know new great people. So we will see you out there on a Sunday, but thank you for being a part of the Papa Bear Show this evening. My name is Imani Lucas. I'm here with Shana Breed Brazel, and we are out, y'all. Peace.
Peace.